Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Erica. I have 6 daughters and we are a homeschooling family. Today I am going to be doing a hits and misses for my 4th grader for the 2023-2024 school year. So this year was difficult on our family. If you watched my 8th graders video, you'll know that it was pretty difficult on our family medically, and we had a lot of stopping points and starting again and all of those things. But the thing that was specific to Kennedy is that we actually got a formal diagnosis that she is dyslexic this year. I have always assumed that she is dyslexic. There have been lots and lots of different things that have pointed to that direction, but having the formal diagnosis was really helpful, and I wish I would have gotten it last year or the year before this year, because you could see it in her that she gained more confidence with knowing that that's what it was. It wasn't just that she couldn't learn or that it was slower or whatever. She just really gained some confidence that that is in fact what it is. It's not just a maybe. And we were able to use some tools with more confidence. I felt more confident in using those tools. And it was just, she is the only kid this year that I really feel like flourished. And it was a really, really good school year for her academically. Now, with that being said, we did implement some different things for her and do some different things for her, knowing that she is dyslexic. One of those things was we added all about spelling, and that went great. That was a huge, huge hit. We did the new colored version, and we actually didn't do any of the activity packs. She wasn't super interested in it. It is a little bit more juvenile, I will say, than she needs, because she is an older, not a super older student, but she is a little bit older than the curriculum is written for. So we didn't do any of the activity pack, but she enjoyed it, and she enjoyed the tools, and she enjoyed just figuring it out. And seeing those light bulbs all turn on this year has been a huge blessing for me and for her. So all about spelling was a huge, huge hit. The next thing that we did in as far as language arts is we did do the new Good and the Beautiful level 3. So she's a 4th grader, but we did the level 3. And I know that a lot of people will say that the Good and the Beautiful is advanced. I'm not sure that I believe that. Maybe in some components, but I think it's pretty on level. And so she technically, in my opinion, would be doing a level or a grade level below. But because of her dyslexia, we did want to give her that chance to really develop her skills, especially in reading. Before this school year started, she would have said she hated reading. She did not want to do it ever. She didn't even want to do like reading that was way below her level. She didn't like any of it. She didn't like reading to her siblings, none of that. And I have just seen her come alive in reading. The books were phenomenal. The readers of the new level 3, I cannot sing enough praise about them. The back and forth with parent and student gave her the break that she needed to have the stamina to continue reading and to read a whole chapter and read a chapter book. It was so good for her confidence, and I will recommend those books specifically to anyone. I just loved them, and they were really fun stories. Her favorite was Timothy and the 10th Floor, and she actually asked for the rest of the series this year for Christmas, and I I almost cried when she did, because I'm telling you, this kid hated reading, hated reading. So for her to ask for it for a present just melted my heart. So I am very grateful for those books. As far as the curriculum as a whole, it really didn't work for her anymore. And I could really see it this year because of the diagnosis, because of how she was improving so much in spelling with All About Spelling, and the readers being really good. Like, there was so much growth in her that I could see that The Good and the Beautiful doesn't work for her. And The Good and the Beautiful does not say that they work for dyslexic kids. And in fact, after all of this, I would say that The Good and the Beautiful is only for atypical children, because it did not lend itself to what she needed, which is fine. That's fine. Because again, they do not claim that they are for dyslexic children. And so we just ended up Xing a lot of the stuff out. Basically, the only things we used in The Good and the Beautiful this year in the actual curriculum itself was anything to do with art or geography. Spelling, out the window, because we were doing All About Spelling. We did do some grammar, so that was not a miss. I think it was the year she started sentence diagramming. So it wasn't totally a miss. It's just that we won't be using it anymore for her. It just doesn't work the way it's set up as a whole for her. We really like the art component and the geography, but everything else, and the readers were phenomenal, but everything else just didn't really work well. And even the grammar, because of the dyslexia, even the grammar, the kind of sentences that were being edited, it just didn't work, and that's fine. So we will not be using The Good and the Beautiful anymore for her. The next one is math. Math, she also uses The Good and the Beautiful. She used The Good and the Beautiful level 4 math, and she really enjoys this math program. It is very long, I will say. It takes a lot of time, and I struggle with that. She likes it so much that I would still consider it a hit because she likes it, but it does take her a long time. And sometimes I have crossed out some questions so that she can just move on, because she'll get a concept and we don't have to do so many problems. There also is not enough writing in there. I know that that's a huge complaint for a lot of people. There isn't, but it didn't really bother us. She just used a spiral and would go to the spiral for working out questions. The other thing that she struggled with a little bit, and this is a Kennedy problem, not The Good and the Beautiful problem, is that The Good and the Beautiful says a few ways to do a problem, which I appreciate, but she's pretty good at math. So she doesn't need to be taught more than one way. Whatever way you teach her the first way is the way she's going to do it and the way she gets it. So she doesn't need the other 2 ways that you could possibly solve the problem. And that's where she struggles. That's the only part she struggles in, because she's like, wait, why am I doing it that way? And I always have to tell her, if you got it with the first way, you don't have to figure out the other ways. But yeah, The Good and the Beautiful math for her, fabulous. Huge hit for Kennedy. The next one is science. For science, we used Apologia Astronomy. That went great. My kids loved the astronomy. We didn't do all of the experiments. It is a long textbook, or a textbook format. We did astronomy in half the year, which I know a lot of people say you can use one book for an entire year, but because my kids are upper elementary levels, they just kind of flew through it. And like I said, we don't do all the experiments. We do very few because mommy is not prepared sometimes. Again, this year was just difficult. difficult. So preparing those kind of things was just hard. And then we moved on to Zoology 1. Yes, we did Zoology 1, flying birds or flying animals. They weren't as interested. Astronomy was great. Flying animals, not so interested. We did have the old version of that, which I think was a huge difference. And so I think that the new version would have been better, and for my younger three, I might invest in the new edition for them for that reason. But they just also weren't very interested in the subject matter. Like, my kid loves animals, but flying ones are not her thing, which is fine. It was still a great program. It just didn't spike their interest. And I think that from now on, I will go much closer to their interests, because they learn so much when they're interested, and it actually stays in their little noggins. So that was science. For history, we used Knotgrass, and we finished up our 50 states because we started mid-year last year with that, and so we finished that up. That was good. I definitely think I could have used it better, especially for like remembering geography specifically, because for Knotgrass, the R50 states is more learning about that state and that state's history. It's not really a geography program, and I think I could have used it better, and I will use it better in the future. But it was good. They liked it. It was engaging, and they liked a lot of the books that went along with it. George Washington Carver was their favorite, which was a little bit surprising to me. Soft Rain was my favorite. The girls just thought it was too sad, which I'll give it to them. It was sad. And then we started with our Star Spangled Story, and that has been going really well too. My younger kids like history. They like the story, the way that it's set up in story format, and they like that they know these little weird information tidbits that Knotgrass has, and they come and share it with their history buff dad because he doesn't know these things, and so now they think they're smarter, and they might be right. The literature that goes along with our Star Spangled Story is not as good as the 50 states. We just haven't enjoyed it as much. I think that's a them thing. They are on, I can't remember. I think it's Farmer Boy now. They're on Farmer Boy now, and they enjoy that okay. It's not great. But we also are moving very fast through our Star Spangled Story, and I will explain a little bit more in our next year curriculum video. But I decided that I wanted to speed it up and fly through this a little bit faster so that we can move on and do something more family style next year. Because for this year, it was just my 4th and 3rd grader. My 8th grader did something different. And then obviously the little kids just hang around. So we are going to be doing something much more family style, including my will-be 9th grader. And so I just really wanted to finish this program because I am a finisher. I very, very rarely will tell my kids, that's it. We're not doing any more of that. We're going to put that away and try something new. Very rarely. So I need to finish because that's who I am. And I'm a finisher. But Knotgrass, it's a hit. We like it. We really like the way it's formatted and all that jazz. The only complaint with Knotgrass is that it's every single day. But, you know, some subjects just do that. Or some curriculums just do that. And that's okay. And the last thing is Bible. We did Bible as a family. We did Apologia's Old Testament. And Kennedy just shined. She has not been baptized, but she has really built her relationship with God and is just, she really just flourished this year as a whole, as a whole person. She has come close with Jesus. She has gone she has made huge leaps in reading and spelling, and she is a animal lover. She has tons and tons of information in her little head about all things animals, and anytime I have a question about them, she's the person I go to. And then she has also really enjoyed history this year. So math went really well. For Kennedy this year has been phenomenal. And again, she's the only kid that's really been like that this year, because that's just how it is sometimes. She just did really well, and I'm very proud of her and very proud of the kid that she's becoming. So if you want to hear her curriculum picks for next year, that will be coming soon. Thank you guys for sticking around and hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.